They came along shower shouting at us, pointing their guns at us. We were all sitting in the cockpit with our hands up, not wanting to make them think that we were going to go for a weapon or anything like that. So we clearly wanted them to see our hands and everything. It was another sort of completely quite a violent scenario where we were bent double, arms like almost broken up behind our back, marched into a small area, thrown on the ground onto the metal deck, pushed and punched, told to get down, shouting at all the time, you know, to make us feel frightened, really, I suppose. Pushed again and again. Get your head down, like flat on the ground like this. We're flying completely flat on the ground. You couldn't get your head down anymore. Then they started ripping our outer clothes off. We'd come with a jacket or something because we didn't know we'd put warm clothing on. They ripped that clothing off and then swirled seawater on the decks to make us soaking wet. So we'd be lying in this soaking wet torrent of water, as it were. As we were trying to get my jacket off, I think I must have raised my head or something. It's quite hard taking your jacket off when you're lying flat on the ground. And then one of the soldiers just laid into me with his boot in my back, and that was really where my main injury came from, right at the beginning of that being put onto this prison ship, and probably screaming in agony. It was very, very painful. They hauled us up again and made us take the rest of our clothes off. So basically, more or less in underwear or sort of long johns and a t-shirt at that point. And then we were put in a kind of enclosed yard on the boat, which was surrounded by metal cabins, metal containers, like just like you see on the back of lorries, and basically imprisoned there for 2.5 days, not knowing anything really where we were going, and every now and again the soldiers would come in and rough us up or throw these flash bombs into us. We were hardly provided with enough water, and a few bits of dry bread were thrown in every now and again, but it was nothing else.